Okay.
So, what is polyamory?
For
So,
myself?
yeah. So, there's a definition.
Yeah, I would say it's ethical non-monogamy. For
Hmm.
me, it's
Okay.
multiple loves.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that those love have to be sexual. It can be non-sexual relationships with other people.
Hmm.
But having or being open to the possibility, I should say, of having multiple relationships at one time.
Okay. How long have you been?
A little over 3 years.
3 years. Awesome. How'd you discover?
I was going through a divorce, and my friend was like, "Hey, have you heard about this thing called poly?"
It's a guy?
No,
A
a
girl?
girl that I worked with. And I was
Hmm.
like, "No, what is this?" So then I start researching it because that's my thing. I spent a year reading everything I could find about poly, right?
Hmm.
And we went to.
You spent a year doing that?
Yeah, before I did anything. Just
Wow.
reading, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm totally one of those seeker of knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then someone had suggested I go to Podge. Someone I'd met on OkCupid's like, "Hey, there's this poly group." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, awesome." And my friend had gone to walk the Camino in Spain that summer. So she came back.
The heck is that?
It's a pilgrimage walk somewhere in Spain. Long, long, long. Took her 2 months. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's a fucking rock star. So she comes back and I was like, "Dude, this poly meeting, come with me." She's like, "Okay, awesome." So we go to the poly meeting. She's like, "That was really cool." That was in August. And
She's never been in.
no. And then she up and moved to Spain in December. Right when I
Wow.
started a new relationship, my first poly. I'm like, "Dude, you got me into this and then you bugged out. Not cool."
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So, she's the one that told you about it,
Correct.
but she never actually.
No,
Been poly?
she has not been poly.
Really?
Correct. So she met
like
this guy at the end
blind
of her
leading the
trip,
blind.
right?
Uh-huh.
She was already planning to move to Spain, and they hit it off. So she
Mm.
came back for a few months and then moved in with him, and she's been there for 3 years.
Wow.
And he's very not poly. Whew,
Oh,
no,
my
not at
gosh.
all.
This is
Not
like
at
a
all.
soap opera here. How
So,
did all this?
I know. So she's living vicariously through me. I'm like, not okay, honey.
Right.
So yeah,
So she told you about it.
she's like, "There's different ways to do relationships." And,
What took you a whole year?
probably disentangling myself from my ex
Mhm.
and just, whoa, this is complete and total game changer.
Right.
Yeah, where did all this come from? I don't even know what to do with it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of sat back.
So
did my
mostly-
research, kind of figured out. After my divorce, it was a big, who am I? What am I doing here?
Right.
So,
Why?
my ex and I got together when I was 19,
Mhm.
when I was pregnant. So, going 19 pregnant, getting together, having a baby, that was my life.
Right.
So I joke that I hibernated for 16 years while I was with my ex.
Wow.
I was
16 years, huh?
16 years. I was mom and wife, and there was no other identity outside of that.
Right.
So once we divorced, it was like, whoa, who am I? What am I doing here? What makes me happy? I went through the motions of life and existed, but I didn't really live.
How come you didn't have answers to those questions already? Like, what makes you happy?
I think I missed those formative years because I was a young mom.
Hmm.
That all my attention was devoted towards my child, and in that point I had this really fucked up thought in my head, if you're a parent, you don't have fun.
Hmm.
You are a parent and that's that. That is your life. So I didn't go out, I didn't hang out with friends.
Where'd you get that idea from?
Probably my mother. Yeah. Yeah, she she was a young mother as well, and she went through some really rough times, ended up living in her car after she divorced her first husband with her 2 little ones, and ended up giving them up for adoption.
Oh, man.
So I think she holds a lot of resentment towards that. So when I had my daughter young, she was like, "Well, this is your mistake. This is your thing. You deal with it." So there wasn't much support. So there was the shame, and then there was the, "Well, okay, yeah, I laid down, I made this baby, now I got to take care of it."
So it was
And
so now you have to
very
get rid of everything. And this
correct.
is what she did. Okay.
And even nowadays, she'll make comments about me not going out and doing anything on my weeks that I have my son. Well, you only have him every other week. You should be putting all your time and attention on him. And I'm
Right.
like, but no, that doesn't make a happy mom.
Right.
So maybe it's a generational thing.
Hmm.
Where they were they grew up and like the kids were the focus, and
Right.
now we're realizing that no, that doesn't make happy people, which doesn't make happy moms, and therefore we need to.
Where does that mentality come from, though? Like,
No
what is that?
idea. No idea.
Do you see a difference? In you have friends that have kids that are poly.
Yes.
You have friends that have kids that are monogamous.
Yes.
Is there a difference that you can see?
Um.
I have no idea, but
Yeah, it's. So when I first started with my first poly relationship, and just in general, because when I got divorced, I created this whole new group of friends. I still have, a couple friends from high school way back when, but for the most part, in the past 3 years, I've completely changed my whole group of people that I hang
past
out
3
with.
years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got involved with Sex Positive. I got involved with Podge. I got involved with the Burners. And I'm like, whoa, these are my people. Like, this is my tribe. This is awesome. So I was really, for the first, I'd say even first 2 years, up until about a year ago, really kept my mom life separate from my friend's life. So when I had my son for that week, I just had my son for that week. We didn't cross over. My friends didn't come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then I guess at some point I was like, but if I so believe in these things, I should raise my child in that environment and normalize it. And I think part of that was just it is abnormal. My lifestyle is abnormal for the general population.
Right.
My ex is extremely conservative. He wigged out that I took my son to watch the naked bike ride. He told me under no certain terms am I allowed to take him to a burn ever.
Really?
Yeah. So
Even though there's tons of kids there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. He was pissed that we were on the corner at the poly-friendly, shameless grounds. I'm like, who cares? We were on a public street corner, dude.
Right.
Yeah. I took him up to Dancing Rabbit where my partner Marcus, at the time, his son and son's mom live. It's an eco village up in northeast Missouri. And they all go swimming naked in the pond. That's just what they do.
Right.
And so Logan took off his swim trunks and went swimming naked. When my ex got wind of it, he flipped the fuck out. Called the sheriff. I mean, like, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's extreme.
He's that conservative. So I think there's a lot of... I'm finally getting comfortable with my decisions and who I am to be able to be confident and say, I understand that you don't appreciate this or you don't like it or it's different from you, but this is who I am and I'm not going to hide myself from my child.
Right, yeah.
So...
Do you find that do you know any conservative poly people? I mean, I'm sure they're out there. How does it show up, though?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'm sure that there are, but... No. I haven't come across any. I take that back. I've run across people, like my first poly partner is generally liberal, but he and his wife put tons of time and energy of creating this false facade to the outside world. Of we are like the white middle class, picket fence. Yeah. We are so normal people. And then behind closed doors, they're poly, they do other things that aren't, typical.
Kinky?
Yeah, exactly, right.
So they have like a room with chains and whips.
Not quite that bad, but yeah.
Okay.
But they put so much time and effort in creating this false persona and protecting this who they think that everyone will appreciate. It's been really interesting because they're not that conservative behind closed doors, but publicly they are.
Right. Yeah, it's different for sure.
Yeah, and with me being in their life, it caused a lot of issues for him and I because I'm like, just be who you are, Like
That's scary to some people.
He's terrified of it. Yeah. Terrified of it. I got much further with his wife, and his wife's like, "Oh my God, Karen, I can't even tell you how much you've influenced me," and she came out as poly to her dad. She came out as poly to her stepmom. She's just really kind of like, I'm bisexual. I'm poly. I'm sick of hiding, and really kind of started to push back, and so it's
So there's been a pretend conservative person, but
correct.
You haven't really met one.
No.
I'm sure they're out there. I'd love to find somebody that is, and be like, how do you make this work?
I would venture to guess that conservative people are cheaters instead of poly.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Right.
That it's because then that would, or even maybe on the swinger side as opposed to poly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where we can keep it behind closed doors and create that I don't really do this.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
If I come across them, I'll send them your way.
Yes, please do. Please do. I'd love to. I'm trying to find all the strangest
All of them.
scenarios.
Yeah.
All
the
sorts of
peoples.
stuff.